Hello. Okay, now this is better. All right.
Hello, well, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you very well. Do you hear me?
Yes, well,
Okay,
okay,
and I see you too.
okay. So first of all, thanks for accepting this interview request. And
Okay.
well, I want to start asking, how are you? Because well,
Um,
you've been like through a
I'm
period
pretty
of
fine.
absence.
Yeah, I am upstairs. I had to go come here to avoid the family. They might get distracting.
Okay.
There's a
So
little girl
Mark,
and a there's a little girl and a happy
uh,
and energetic dog too. So
okay. So Mark, you are coming well with Talia for a concert, many concerts in Brazil, and recently Talia said that. You've been you and her in a kind of a new relation that's very different from the times of Nightwish. Do you agree with this
well,
statement?
I think I stand by it pretty much because well, in the past I was also part of the band and all that, and there was times were not easy. Are you hearing me?
Hello, can you hear
Hello,
me?
hello. Yes, I can.
Yeah, sorry, I just got a call. Sorry, can you repeat, please?
Yeah, for sure. So in the early days, things were really different in the way that I was a part of the band, and there was a also yeah, I was the new guy. So of course we knew, but I guess we didn't really know that well and that deep in any ways at first. But also there was this thing that I do know a lot of how great instrument vocals are, but unless you're not doing it yourself, you also know you don't know how fragile and how well you got to maintain the physical and the psychic side as well in order to produce. It's a heavy position to be put into that kind of a hero. So yeah, and well, now we're both kind of on our own, and it puts us, of course, more on the same level of things. And we already met at the Finnish like Christmas project tour a few years back when we cleared the air by having a few good talks and all that. And there was a little bit of a tear in the corner of a few eyes and blah blah blah. But but yeah, this invite to do the Phantom of the Opera since we were playing the festival, both of us, and then how it led into coming up to this tour and hmm, all kinds of
Yeah.
things have been talked about which would be possible. So it's interesting, of course. But there's again the thing that I do love to write my own stuff and love to write a bit of a progressive stuff and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, I also have learned to like my freedom. Well, we have time to talk about things.
Yes, and well, you and Tyler, you've been together only in two Nightwish records, right? Just Century Child and Once. Uh,
And
but
once, yes.
yeah, how do you see the things evolving from the previous record to Once? Your relation with her.
That was a I think a big time of moving upward for the band. Century Child, and especially with the single "Ever Dream," that already got a band like on a good rise again after Wishmaster. So it was going upward, but then of course with the Nemo single and Once, and the undeniable strength of that album almost with every song. So that really made things turn big for the group. And that was also the time that we were both going through with it. It was a lot of hassle and a lot of things. And I don't know. Later on, I also think that, of course, bands are democracies and all that. And we gotta be able to abide by the will of the others. But you cannot force people to do too much of things that they personally don't like to do, because then you will not get the results. And yeah, so there's a fine line of balance how to keep up the personal chemistry, friendship, and the professional things going on, especially when you got a lot of stubborn and hot-headed artists.
Yes.
Luckily,
And
luck, uh, luckily these days things are more surreal.
yes. And and Marco, when you left Nightwish, you said that you have some issues with the music industry. You still have this problem.
Uh, I think I dealt with the problems because, well, I had been having a kind of a like a deepening depression and anxiety, and it started to come on already in my previous marriage, and then of course when I started to feel that I'm going to break down under the pressures, then I got divorced. But that doesn't really feel good when you all the structures of your life are in pieces, and you stay your nights at the hotels, and you miss your kids, and then yeah, so depressing things, and those of course can like a launch a real clinical thing, and I've had those before. But this time it was like it stayed. It never went away from my head. All these thoughts, this darkness, it just started to be my like daily companion. And I fucked things up, was worthless and all that. And then it just got worse and worse until it was really hard to, you know, deal with anything like deal with people and your correspondence or band or interviews or anything. I was just so depressed that everything was tiring. And yeah, and in the end, it got so bad that I kind of decided that I need to take a break away from everything. That I gotta leave everything the world demands behind me for some while and find out the reasons. And then already had been having a therapist for a while, and then we also checked out the new psychiatrist. Did they have any ideas about like medical combinations or anything? What's new? But this guy actually said that when I listen to you, I think that you need to take the neuropsychological test for ADHD. And I was like, what the fuck? I know I'm impulsive and I sometimes speak bullshit that may upset people before I think. But I've never really been like a physically impulsive or that. But yeah, I did. I've always been the the guy who stares at the horizon with his mouth open and disappears into his inner space, which is full of all kinds of things from outer space to ocean deep and all that. I've been at the mercy of my imagination. And that's where the attention disorder had actually directed itself. So I wasn't as physically like wild, but it was wild in here,
Yeah.
which in a way is really a great thing if you think about it in terms of writing songs and anyway having a like a hyper focus in the musical things and all that. In that way, it's a positive thing, but it has made a lot of things hard. and this ADHD, because it's a it's a it's with you from birth, and I do recognize the fact that I always felt a bit different and out of place in circles, and that's what makes you prone to worthlessness and depression and anxiety way more than normal brain chemistry.
Yes.
There are people who have that. So in the end, we have been on and off medicating symptoms for about 2 decades. And then things changed and the meds changed and everything. And I was on the new meds for about 3 weeks. And then I was at the backyard. Something is wrong with that. I'm feeling really weird. What the hell is happening? Oh, yeah. I'm peaceful. I don't feel anxious. It's fucking great.
That's very nice.
So in some cases something succeed. Of course, I've been with this ADHD meds for about 2 years soon. So it starts to be pretty safe to say that it made a hell of a difference to better.
Well, that's very nice to know. And Marco, when you announced that, sorry.
Just yeah.
Okay. When you announced it that you were leaving the band, how was the reaction of the other Nightwish guys and girls?
I think that even though I tried to be really honest about the darkness that was taking over my insides, I tried to be very honest. I don't think that kind of thing is how deep it goes, that it's an everyday thing that bugs you at every moment there's any free time. If you're left into your thoughts with yourself, they turn black. They're only reminiscent of failures and grief and shit. And I don't think that the guys really understood how bad it was. And yeah, I guess they were even surprised that I have to stop. And well, I'm sorry, of course, that things got that way, but there was no other way for me.
You asked it for a time, something like that?
We have to remember that this thing followed me through the last years. It was also starting to be like a wear and tear on everybody, because I was turning, yeah, I was like a guy whose cup is constantly full. You say one wrong thing and I jump to the walls. And yeah, I was unpredictable because my mood was constantly bad because I had no peace. And I was waking up in the usual worst time of the night, 3 o'clock in the morning. Everything's dead, and your thoughts are just full of already anxiety and disappointments and things that you've left undone or broken. Yeah, it's a shit thing. It's
Yeah.
that kind of a depression and anxiety. It's a goddamn persistent delusion. Also, it's no wonder it's sickness.
Yeah. Well, I'm so glad to know that you are better now, and I will leave you to the next journalist.
Okay.
See you in Curitiba.
Okay. See you there. Have a good one.
Thanks.
Bye bye. Bye bye.